Why do video game addicts destroy their lives? So I used to be addicted to video games, and I've spoken to a lot of people that actually watch these videos, and they tell me about how their video game addictions just have ruined their lives, honestly, and have stopped them from achieving their goals, whether that be getting good grades, getting into like a healthy relationship, finding purposeful work, making money, things like that. And it's so damaging to see that they're not able to achieve all these goals because of something like video games. And because we constantly crave that dopamine that we get from just beating another level on the video game that we like. And so I wanted to kind of explain what's kind of going on here and how I understand why we're so addicted and why we're willing to destroy our lives, even though we know it's a bad thing. And I'm going to use a bit of an extreme example of a heroin addict. Because let's just say in this example, there's a heroin addict, his life is falling apart, he just got divorced, his kids leave him, got kicked out of his job, he's starving, no shelter, he's literally on the streets. And from the outside, you look at this addict and you think his life is falling apart. That's what you see. But it's actually funny because the addict sees a different thing. He doesn't see all those things. What he sees is that if he just takes more drugs, more heroin, his life actually stops falling apart. His life stops falling apart because as soon as he takes heroin or the drug, he forgets about the divorce. He forgets about his kids leaving. He forgets about the fact that he's unemployed, he's starving, there's no shelter. He's at peace because of the drug. And so the reason why he's addicted to heroin, even though he knows his life is falling apart, is actually the reason why he's taking it. Because his life is falling apart and he wants that sense of ease and peace, he takes the drug so he forgets about what is happening in reality. And so the drug for him is an escape. It's a solution to the pain that he feels in real life. And so this sort of instant gratification actually, it doesn't seem like a bad thing, right? Because he's getting this instant gratification from this drug. He takes the drug and he forgets all about his issues. He feels much more peaceful and he feels just a sense of bliss. And on paper, it seems like, cool, great, he's living his life. But we all know fundamentally that that's kind of wrong, right? Like, why is that wrong? Well, it's wrong because the price we pay for that instant gratification is only going to be more and more expensive over time. We end up having to take more of that drug over time in order to have the same effect, where eventually it gets to the stage where it's just not feasible, where at the end, you're just going to have to face the harsh reality of the life that you've created, or in other words, the life that you've made to fall apart. And so going back to the idea of video games, it's exactly the same thing. Video games are the drug. When we play video games, we neglect other areas of our life. For me, I neglected my health. I was a skinny kid in high school. I was like 55 kgs. I could see my ribs when I would breathe in. I didn't have any healthy relationships. My grades weren't even that great. And so I sacrificed all of that. But when I played video games, I would forget about all those things and I would just be immersed in the progress I would make in the video game. So that's the price we pay for instant gratification. And that's why you're addicted to video games, because it's a temporary solution to all the pain that you're suffering in your entire life. And it's hard because if you actually want to make progress, you're essentially saying, hey, I have this solution in front of me, which is video games. It's going to solve all my pains, but I actually need to make the decision to get rid of this solution and to actually address all the problems that I'm facing head on. And that's an uncomfortable process. I spent years trying to cut down my video games and eventually just address my problems one by one. And I'm still working on them. I started in grade 12. So that was when I was 18. I'm 22 this year. So I've spent the last 4 years just cutting video games out and working on the areas of my life that had fell apart. So I started with working on my grades. I got that up. Then I worked on my relationships, my health, things like that. And now I'm working more on my work. So that's ultimately the solution. I wish I could give you some quick solution here, but as long as you recognize that this is an issue and you put the comfortable solution down and you confront the uncomfortable reality, if you just do that over a long enough time frame, eventually real life becomes just as fun as the video game. But it just takes time. And even though it does take that time, the reward you get at the end is infinitely much more valuable than the reward you get from a video game. You know how at the end of the video game, let's say you play for 8 hours, at the end you probably feel shit. You probably feel like, hey man, I just wasted 8 hours on this video game. I can't believe I just wasted my time. But it's not the same in real life. In real life, you can spend 1,000 times the amount of time. Let's say I spent 4 years mastering a skill. And that's kind of what I've done. I spent the last 4 years trying to master the YouTube game. So right now I work as a YouTube strategist for this guy that has like 1.2 million subscribers. And when I look back, I don't see those past 4 years as wasted. I genuinely feel proud that I spent that time working on real goals that have a real difference in my life. So that's what I want to share with you today. And so the overall takeaway is that video game addicts willingly destroy their lives because it's a temporary solution for their real life pain. But if you're able to look ahead, see the fire and not get burnt, then it's best to acknowledge that it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful ripping off that band-aid of comfort, which is video games, and confronting the harsh reality. But once you do, the rewards are going to be infinitely much more valuable and fulfilling. So I wish you all the best.